We begin at 4 o'clock now with some breaking news in Lacey. A man has stolen a semi-truck and crashed it in the middle of southbound I-5. This is a live look right now over the scene from Sky King.
You can see an ambulance there, and it looks like just moments ago we saw that suspect get put into that ambulance. But let's go now to King 5's Drew Mickelson, who's live for us there on the ground. He's at the scene. Drew, what do we know at this point?
Well, Jessica and Steve, police aren't willing to tell us too much other than there is police activity going on behind us. But from what we have seen on Sky King and here from the ground, it appears this person is in custody. I want to let Tom Tedford zoom in to show you what we're looking at. This is the back end of a trailer, a semi-trailer that rolled here on I-5. We are standing just off the northbound lanes right by the Regal Cinemas here in Lacey. As you can tell, traffic is shut down in both directions. This all started around 2 o'clock this afternoon when a man with a hammer was walking through traffic and then eventually overtook this semi-truck. Now, just about 15 minutes ago, we watched as SWAT members were able to bust out the window of that semi and get the man out. We did hear several large bangs, several loud bangs. We also heard a lot of police radio traffic as far as speakers telling the man commands as he was coming out of that truck. Again, police are not able at this point to tell us if he's in custody, if he was shot, if less than lethal methods were used. At this point, all they are willing to say is that this was a police activity. Right now, there is an ambulance on scene. It appears that folks are working on that man. This was a man who witnesses said had a hammer and was walking up and down the interstate trying to get into vehicles when he eventually took over that semi, drove it for a little bit, lost control of it, and flipped it into the median. Traffic is shut down, as I said, in both directions. A state trooper said it could be this way for several hours. So if you're planning on heading south out of Seattle or Tacoma to Olympia or to Portland, it's going to be a mess, and the same goes for northbound, at least as we speak at this hour. Live in Lacey, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
Drew, thank you. And we should note that this is the second carjacking in Thurston County this week. On Monday, 2 men wanted out of Oregon shot at officers, shot 2 civilians, carjacked a man, and led troopers on a chase from Napa Vine to Tenino. One of the suspects was fatally shot by law enforcement. The other is currently in the hospital, and a warrant has been issued for his arrest for attempted murder, among other charges. And now to a story that we've been following for more than 4 hours. Right now, investigators are working to determine the cause of a deadly plane crash in Snohomish County.
We know 2 people are dead after the single-engine aircraft crashed and caught fire near Harvey Field. King 5's Erica Zucco has been live on scene since noon today. She joins us now. Erica.
Steve and Jessica, I spoke with a man who says that he saw that plane plunge from the sky. He says that he sped toward it, trying to see if there was anything he could do to help. But when he got there, it was too late.
I saw the plane come out of the air and pieces of it were falling off, and then you just let straight down right there.
The Federal Aviation Administration says a single-engine Textron 208B crashed this morning east of Harvey Field around 9:30 with 2 people on board. Snohomish Fire District 4 responded to find large flames and confirmed both passengers had died.
It was awful. It was just awful. You know, I really felt sorry for these people.
First responders say the FAA and NTSB will now take over. The NTSB tonight confirming only that it is investigating the crash of a Cessna Caravan. The medical examiner's office has not yet released the ages or names of the people who were involved in this crash. And at this point, Highway 2 is back open tonight. We're live in Snohomish County. Erica Zucco, King 5 News.
Thank you, Erica. This is our area's second deadly plane crash in less than 3 months. The bodies of 3 passengers from a float plane crash off Whidbey Island are still missing tonight. The plane crashed at the beginning of September. The NTSB says a missing lock near the tail of the plane may have been the cause. Also right now, some more breaking news. Police still searching for a 3rd suspect after shots were fired on the UW campus. The university posted an alert saying 2 other suspects are in custody right now. The university adds a car involved in the shooting crashed into a tree near the Center for Urban Horticulture, and a weapon was found inside the car. No word yet on any injuries at this point.
Today, new details have emerged about the deaths of 4 students murdered near the University of Idaho in Moscow. The Latah County coroner told News Nation The students were all stabbed with a, quote, pretty large knife while they were in their beds. These are the students who were killed, including Ethan Chapin, from Skagit County here in Washington. Chapin's parents told King 5 he was staying the night at his girlfriend's Anna's house when he was killed. Now, her father told media outlets in Arizona that she died fighting for her life. Students were found around noon on Sunday. A partial autopsy report that was released yesterday shows they all died sometime after 2 a.m. that day. Right now, investigators say they have no suspect. The coroner says DNA samples have been taken from the scene and are being processed. And when pressed, she said it was, quote, possible that some of the DNA being tested may not be from those 4 victims.
Tomorrow, the student shot and killed at Ingram High School in Seattle will be laid to rest. A funeral is scheduled for 17-year-old Ebenezer Hiley tomorrow at 2 in Briar. 2 teens are facing charges in his death. Now to weather. Low temperatures expected to drop below freezing through the weekend. A look at a few of those temperatures right now on your screen. We are going to get to your first alert forecast here in just 2 minutes.
Ski resorts, meantime, taking advantage of all these cold temperatures. A live look at Crystal Mountain now, where they saw their first skiers and snowboarders on the slopes today. King 5's Connor Board's live at the resort now. So Connor, the ski day just ended, but this was a big day for skiers and the resort.
Today marks the 60th season here at Crystal Mountain, and it's actually the earliest they've opened in the last 5 years. Now, skiers, snowboarders, and workers here at the resort all have high hopes for the upcoming ski season. An opening day.
There you are. Have a good run.
Bringing some small skiers with big goals.
Mine is to go on more double black diamonds right here.
And today was all about fun for Elise and Bryce Jones from Enumclaw, who skipped school to come to Crystal Mountain, a day they've been waiting for since last year.
Like, I want to go here every day, but I can't.
And this year, their wait to get back on the slopes was a little shorter. This is the earliest Crystal Mountain has opened since 2017.
Freaking stoked. Summer makes me depressed. Like, literally, I've been waiting for this since last season.
This early opening is due to early snow and some extra help from snow machines.
In the last week, we've made 8 million gallons of snow.
And a lot of visitors are expected to come.
On peak visitation days, we can receive, 2,000 to 3,000 visitors.
Today was only open to pass holders, but on Monday, the mountain will open to the general public. And coming up tonight at 5, we'll share how surrounding communities actually benefit from the resort opening and how the state of Washington benefits as a whole from the economy, from the people that this ski industry brings in. Reporting from Crystal Mountain, Connor Board, King 5 News.
Also, taking advantage of this cold weather, the Bellevue Downtown Ice Rink is open to skaters for the holiday season. It is located in Bellevue Downtown Park, just 1 block south of Bellevue Square. The rink will be open through January 8th.
All right, let's get to your first alert weather forecast now. Feels like winter, not officially, right?
Not officially. We still have about another month, but those temperatures are running well below average. You feel it in the mornings, and we're going to see another cold night. So if you do have any plans tonight or any plans tomorrow morning, you want to make sure that you bundle up. We're going to see those temperatures in the 20s and 30s. And folks, get a look at this. We should be in the lower 40s for those overnight lows. So we are running a good 10 to, in some cases, about 12 degrees below that seasonal average. We should see clear skies out there. Most areas won't see any fog, but as you work your way into central parts of Washington, there is that possibility of a little bit of fog, and some of that could be freezing. So keep that in mind if you are crossing over the mountains heading eastbound on I-90 tomorrow morning. Right now, temperatures are pretty chilly in the 40s. We're going to have a look at that weekend forecast and that Thanksgiving forecast coming up.
Okay, thank you, Christopher. Remember, keep that free King 5 app handy this weekend. It is the fastest way to keep track of those temperatures outside. Text the word app to the number on your screen, 206-448-4545, and we'll send you a link to download it.
Lake Stevens is at risk of losing money because the city curbs are not meeting federal standards.
The city says it is working on a plan to fix the problem. King 5's Natalie Swaby is live at WashDOT's headquarters to explain. Natalie.
Right. Well, WashDOT is the agency that alerted the city. Now, the mayor of Lake Stevens says the city will have a comprehensive compliance plan for WashDOT by the end of March. But one resident tells me it should have happened a long time ago.
I started voicing concern to try and stop it back in 2018.
Shane Oden lives in Lake Stevens.
When they replaced it, they didn't meet compliance.
And has a photo collection of curbs and crosswalks that he says are not compliant with the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Unfortunately, the ones that are out here are not compliant either.
He took our camera on a tour of what he sees as terrible.
This is not ADA compliant. There's no truncated domes, no landing. Same thing with all 4 of these. If they're not doing ADA compliance, it's not protecting the most vulnerable members of our community. The other thing is I knew that if it kept going, if it was a systemic issue, it could really put the taxpayers at a disadvantage for getting federal funds.
He says that fear is becoming a reality.
The 5th item is ADA compliance update.
Earlier this month, it was a focus at City Hall.
It informs you that the city received a letter from WashDOT letting us know that we have alleged noncompliance with Title II of ADA and resulting in ineligibility for FHWA funding, which is Federal Highways Authority funding.
Now, a WashDOT spokesperson says it is the only non-compliance letter that the agency has issued. WashDOT plans to work with the city to resolve these ADA issues. Live in Shoreline, Natalie Swaby, King 5 News.
Time for the Fast Five. Attorney General Merrick Garland has appointed a special counsel in 2 separate criminal probes involving former President Trump. Former federal prosecutor Jack Smith will focus on Trump's handling of classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago and key aspects of the investigation into his role in the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol.
Former Theranos CEO Elizabeth Holmes has just been sentenced to 135 months in prison. That is just a little over 11 years. Holmes was once hailed a tech industry icon for her company's promises to test for a range of medical conditions with just a few drops of blood. She was convicted of defrauding investors earlier this year.
Jury selection begins Monday in the criminal trial for Pierce County Sheriff Ed Troyer. In 2021, Troyer called law enforcement claiming Cedric Altheimer, a black newspaper carrier, had threatened to kill him. Troyer faces charges of false reporting.
All evacuation orders have been lifted for dozens living on the Makah Reservation near Nia Bay and the Olympic Peninsula. The fire crews say that the winds have died down enough today, which allowed them to drop water on the fire from helicopters. They hope to have both fires 80% contained by the end of today.
A King County court has extended an order that blocks Albertsons from paying a $4 billion dividend to shareholders. A new hearing date has now been scheduled for December 9th. A judge issued a nationwide temporary restraining order earlier this month, stopping the payment as Albertsons pursues a merger with Kroger.
Still ahead on King 5, school safety at the forefront.
School representatives, police officers, and families are holding a discussion on school resource officers in Seattle. We'll have the takeaways from that meeting. Also, flu cases rising ahead of the holidays. We are tracking cases in Pierce County tonight.
A candidate is ahead of the polls in District 10, even after exaggerating his military and employment history. What his opponent is demanding tonight. King 5 News 4 continues in 2 minutes.